عجب سلام سلام حربنياوي سلام سلام حربنياوي سلام سلام لك فغري سلام مسكنا نعهم في السهاو سلام مسكنا نعهم في السهاو سلام درخونكون هدرخونكون هيوتون حفاش زيبكو زيبرقو بعل حفو بعل دلدلقو دلدل سرد حزب زندقو زمامقو
كوران سمعتنا كما تقنيو 88.1 FM دمت إرترا كاب هاليفاكس معالل زلو قلمة أيا وهي panel discussion كخوونيو نزي أزاجاوي ناز يمان بحال نايلو معالتي فليز بلي بعنق أنجليزينيا نتوم أبزي توليدوم زعابي إرترا نمبصح كبل 3 سبات بعنق أنجليزينيا panel discussion ككاديوم ساتوم كا Mogos Yacob Dr. Fnan Tesfamariam Kab Calgary and Heron Goitom Kab Toronto Khone Malaysia. Hansa Quran سمعتنا بمجمع I would like to explain about October 3rd, 2013. October 3, 2013 was the darkest day of our brothers and sisters who lost their lives in Mediterranean Sea.
Hello.
Yacob Hansa Sanhani Lekakwe.
Okay, okay.
And that's some I can interpret Gabriela. It was also the day that the regime of Eritrea, the leader, publicly denied them as his own people. Rather, he chose by undermining them as an African refugees or immigrant. Nevertheless, until we achieve our freedom, until we bring the culpable people in the justice, we are never going to stop fighting against the existing dictatorial regime. We are not going to be too intimidated or living on fear, because the time is on our side. Younger generation, they are getting up to fight for their freedom and freedom of their own people. Therefore, our victory is imminent. Long live and victory for Yeakl movement. 88.1 CKDU voice of Eritrea. Our guests of today is going to be, as I said in Tigrinya, Dr. Mogos Yacob, Fnan Tesfamariam, and Heron Goitom. Unfortunately, I don't think Heron is able to join us.
He just joined.
I beg pardon?
He just joined now. Sorry about that.
Is she there?
Yes, I disconnected her right now.
Okay, and Heron Goitom. Those three people, they are trying to discuss it as a panel discussion format by them for outreach younger Eritrean generation. As you know, Dr. Mogos has been several times in our show. Fnan Tesfamariam as well. The only new one we have is Heron Goitom. So far, it's so good. I will leave the podium to those people. I will ask them to introduce yourself one by one, and then lead the way. Dr. Mogos, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Naz, for this opportunity. And I would like, before I introduce myself, I would like to acknowledge, to give a credit to the Voice of Eritrea for giving us this opportunity for Canada-wide Yeakl to reach the youngsters at this moment in point. Also, I would like to acknowledge also to sinisna.com for recording our voice and disseminating all over the world using YouTube. Thank you very much for that. And then, of course, I would like to give credit also those who are giving us their time to follow us in this show. As Naz spelled out, then I came many times in this radio. I would like to mention also since 2014 I started to follow this Voice of Eritrea, and I really learned a lot of vast knowledge of our struggle, our history. So really Naz for what he has done for the last 20 years is amazing, and just I would say thank you very much for all hard work. I hope at the end of the time it will pay off. And as I said, my name is Mogos Yacob. I born in Eritrea in the capital of Asmara, and I studied at the University of Asmara, and then I completed my Bachelor of Accounting in 1996. And then from then I started to work in January after I finished my training in Sawa. Then because I did the national service while I was a student. From then in January 1997, I became the public servant in local government, where majority of the G15 been participated for this transformation which we are fighting for. And then in 2002, I got an opportunity to go to South Africa, where I did my master's and PhD. And in 2008, I started to work as a lecturer at the University of Namibia, a neighbor of South Africa. And then in 2017, I came as a visitor to United States. Then in 2017 again, just came back to Canada. Then I'm here in Canada right now, which I'm part of the Yeakl movement, which I'm doing my part from my side. And today also I'm also honored being joining by to this. Today the show is completely unique. What makes it unique is we have two brilliant girls being born in Canada, and also they are part of Yeakl. So they are here with us to join us to give us their voice to the voiceless people in Eritrea. So I just say thank you very much for all the hard work. So I think I hand in also to Fnan, and then let Heron to introduce themselves. Then we carry on our proceeding for the next 3 hours. But in between, of course, as we used to do, we will have, is a call from our public. Hopefully, they will help us actually soon enough. And we hope so. And I hope, Naz, my voice is clear and loud. And
it's okay. So far, so good.
Thank you very much. Let me hand in to Fnan and Heron.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Mogos.
Fnan, your voice little bit higher, little bit up.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
I hear you, but for recording, your voice have to be a little bit higher.
Oh, okay. Is it better now? Can you hear me now?
Go ahead. If that's what you could do, it's not better, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I just wanted to start by saying thank you guys so much. Thank you, Naz, for this time and your contribution, and I really appreciate it. And Dr. Mogos and all of you, the rest of you as well. So, as you guys might not know, my name is Fnan Tesfamariam. I was born and raised in Toronto, and now I reside in Calgary, and I'm part of the Yeakl movement. I'm part of the Yeakl movement, and I just decided to join because I said enough is enough, and I really loved the model of Yeakl and what it stands for. So that opened up an opportunity for me to come and to participate and make my voice heard, and to also be an influencer for my generation. So I think I'll just leave it with that right now, and then I'll give it over to Heron.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Fnan.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Radio Sinitna, for giving me this opportunity. My name is Heron Goitom. I was born in Eritrea and lived in Eritrea until 2009. And then I moved to Uganda, Dubai, and then I finally came to Canada. I graduated from University of Waterloo this June 2019, and studied political science with a minor in legal studies. The reason I joined Yeakl is because I know about the suffering of my people, and I want to help in any way I can to bring about change in Eritrea. I've always cared about my people, and I hate the situation. If I can help in any way, I want to help. And the reason I joined Yeakl is because I feel like I can help the people in Eritrea with what's being done in the diaspora. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So what I want you to do now is a kind of panel discussion. Discuss about Yeakl, whatever you want to talk by yourself, you guys. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Naz. And our today presentation is going to look like, number one, just the first part I thought, is to talk about, just the chain of struggle in our generations. It comes from back 1916, because everyone gave his own contribution to the struggle. Then we are trying to link that one to our Yeakl movement. Then the next part of our discussion will come straight, is to the Yeakl movement. What have you done so far in Canada as the Yeakl Canada-wide umbrella, and what we are prepared to do so. And then, of course, we will talk about our challenges and achievements we have done. Then, of course, we would love to hear also our audience, their contribution, what needs to be done.
Okay.
So
Okay, before you enter the introduction, I'm going to stop you. That's before you enter the whole introduction. Today, this week, you have to remember, all of you, it's the darkest month of Eritrean in diaspora. October 3rd, 2013 was the Lampedusa victims. 265 people perished in the sea to flee from the brutal dictatorship of Eritrea. So, remember, this also is a challenge for Yeakl, that we have to challenge the existing system, and we are not going to stop until the culpable people bring them in justice under Yeakl system. Thank you. The fight your presentation might be for freedom, so let us listen to this music before you enter onto your discussion.
Yeah, Naz, we are waiting for the music, and
Okay.
then I'll carry on.
Let's go on your discussion then. For some reason,
Okay,
technical.
yeah, doesn't work. Okay, that's fine. Yes, thank you very much for reminding me that today, is our dark, it's season of a generation. We have, in history, we have never seen that kind of tragedy. In our history, just as this spell said, it is a black day, and we just live, to lose very young, 361 people in one port, which is horrible. For us, that's why we are standing for our rights. That's why our people are keeping on suffering.
Yeah.
Because this is, it needs to be ended. And apart from that, also, is the government of Eritrea doesn't take any responsibility. Even I don't feel to call government of Eritrea, it's because it doesn't govern us. So we are suffering. So this dictatorship has to go. Then we can't keep, it's dying day and night. Then of course, imagine also, that month also 18 years stolen of their is in prison. Our highest officials and our journalists. So it seems, September and November becomes our two, is the black months of in our history, in this generation. So times when I close my eyes, I feel, I'm here. So what am I doing? then if I don't do my just is my part, who is going to do it? If not today, is going to be when? Then I ask a lot of questions to myself. So if not me, who going to solve? Then let's do something. Is whatever we can. That's why we are this Yeakl being as we are saying that enough is enough for every it's not for dictatorship, but also we are saying that we have seen since it's a whole year, especially last year of June. Enough is enough for our silence. We were silent for many years. It went 20 years. So there are a number of reasons behind it, but now we came all together. Then let's keep this momentum of the flame of struggle to take us to freedom. So I'm really it's very, our history is very what we are suffering is heart touching. So it's beyond imagination. If you tell some other people we are suffering this much, then they might be difficult. For them, it's very difficult to understand. So because there are lots of revolutions happening in Africa, but they don't understand our situation in Eritrea. Sudan, they managed to rid of dictatorship now, and Tunisia and so on. All is the Arab Spring. That is, but Eritrea itself is a jail by itself. So now it is our part, is from this side to do something. So I hope this would be enough, to say
okay.
The momentum of Yeakl.
It's good, but you're talking to me. I want you to talk to them, each other.
Yeah.
You guys think that you're talking each other. Go ahead on what he was talking, Fnan or Goitom. Okay, don't talk to me. Talk to them. That's panel discussion. What we are making it here.
Okay, so you're right.
If it's needed, I will mingle inside.
Thank you. It is the first time we are doing this kind of panel discussion.
Yes, but I don't want to be the person who brings a caution, pose a caution. I always just want to be to see you, how do you grasp about Yeakl, the younger generation, how far they are taking it, how they were going to lead us to a freedom. Discuss about it, what to do, what the strategy, each other, you guys, as if you are in a coffee shop.
Okay, let me start now. Is just let me explain a little bit about
No, I'll give them time because you have only 45 minutes on the first section. So let's Fnan start and Hannah, Goitom, and then come back to you. Go ahead, Fnan.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so like Dr. Mogos was saying, like Yeakl is it's a rebirth. It's not something that's new in our history, in our culture. It's a rebirth movement that we're starting. And yes, it's unacceptable. Like everything that's happening in Eritrea, like it's people are living in vain. From my perspective, people are, it's just unimaginable, just unexplainable, like being detained, being shipped in containers, underground jails. You're not allowed to see your family. Destroying people's character, their legacy, their name. That's character assassination. These people have fought years and long and hard and had hopes of living in their land as free people. So why is this continuing to happen? In my opinion, I feel like we've given this person permission. One person shouldn't have to go to jail. One person shouldn't have to spend half their life serving in national service. We've allowed it to happen. We've given this regime permission to do his corruption, to act as a atrocious person, and this should have been stopped years ago. But however, sometimes you don't know that sometimes you can be under someone's spell. Like there's a cultural influence of like keeping quiet, not speaking up. There's layers to a situation, but I think now is the time. It was always the time, but I think now is the time where people are really just accepting it. If we don't do anything about it now, then we're just like Eritrea is just going to be left as a desert. So I think it's just important to bring out all the facts to the new generation and just bring it out and discuss these things and really addressing these issues and having discussions and talking about what we can do to all work together to even get the diversity going and other ethnicities and backgrounds to be aware of what's happening. The more volume we have, the more numbers we grow in numbers, the more attention we grab, whether it's doing it through Parliament, the UN. We just need to stand up, and the consistency is very important. That's my perspective, and I'll hand it over to
Okay, you said keeping quiet. Remain silent. That's only for women? Because our women always, they were undermined by man. And everything they say, hey, keep quiet. Is that what you're talking about?
I'm not. What I'm talking about right now is I'm talking in general.
In general.
In general, this person has poisoned. His virus has gone viral all over the world, wherever Eritreans are, just to keep silent, just to us to keep silent, not only the people who are in Eritrea, but he's influenced mentally the people who are out. Some people have possessions, they have connections, and he's used that as a weapon to silence people.
Yeah.
And like what happened with the G15 and people going to jail, the journalists, people who are very vocal, he's used that to threaten the people.
It's a way of your time, but there was a movie called Sasso Imboka, mafia movie. Sasso Imboka, in Italian means put stone in the mouth of a person that he cannot speak.
That's right, and that is
exactly what's happening
right now
in Eritrea.
Exactly. Yeah, we've kept quiet for the past 20 years, and people had hopes of things will change, maybe this will happen. But the more you keep quiet, the more we're going to die. We're dying in silence and suffering. We're not in the situations that they're in, but deep down inside, we're all, there's a lingering place in our hearts that we know that we could do better. You don't always have to be in the Yeakl movement, but you can contribute. You can be a voice. You can encourage. You can cheer people on. So I think it's really important that we break this generational cycle of like keeping quiet, giving someone else permission. Well, not one person should have to die. Like, one person dies, one person goes to jail. That's when a tribe should stand up and say, no, this is not supposed to be happening, because we don't question things. And sometimes it has a lot to do with our history, our background, being under colonization, from one country to the next taking over. But those cycles need to break right now, because it's going to even affect our generation. The Eritrean, the American generation, the Europeans. We need to break those cycles. We need to birth a new Eritrea. And in order for that to happen, someone needs to stand up, and that's us. That's what we're doing. So I think it's really important. Like, to me, I think if I don't stand up, I'm the oldest from my siblings. So what example am I setting to them for their lives? We have to set examples. And it's not always comfortable standing up for the right thing, but success doesn't come out of our comfort zone. So that's my take on it for now, but I'll
Very good.
transfer it.
Okay, Heron.
I'll hand over to Heron.
Okay, thank you. I also have the same take on it as Fnan. Yeakl is more about us as a people of Eritrea, for being silent for the past 28 years.
Can you add a little bit to your voice? Is low.
Okay, no problem. So I feel like Yeakl is more about saying no to the Isaias regime and also no to our silence. For the past 28 years, Eritreans have been under Isaias' oppressive regime silently. Silence is never going to help anyone. Like I like to say, the bullet doesn't kill, only silence does. And that's what's happening to us. Since we've been silent for forever, our suffering keeps on continuing, and nothing is being done to change it. But since Yeakl is saying Yeakl to silence, Yeakl to just standing by and let Eritrea slip from our own fingers. Like, if we don't speak up, who will? A lot of the time, the reason that a lot of us question someone's suffering or someone's victimhood is because no one speaks about it. Something bad happens to you and you don't talk about it. But if you don't talk about it, how are we supposed to address it or come to a solution? So what I love about Yeakl is it's saying Yeakl to us as Eritreans, because we also have, if someone is going to hurt you, it's because you allow them to hurt you. They have the power to hurt you, but if you just let them do it, nothing is going to change. So we should take a stand and say enough is enough. So Yeakl is about saying enough to silence, and for Eritreans to come together for a common solution, to discuss and come up with a common solution on how to change the situation back in Eritrea, what we can do as a people. Because for the longest time we've been divided and living all over the world, just minding our own business, someone going to school, or just trying to change our lives, develop our careers. But we've just kind of sidelined the Eritrean topic, or our what's happening back home. Every time we discuss it, it's after our work or after our studies. It's just a topic of discussion, but we're not really invested in it in order to bring about a real change. So if we're going to bring about real change, we have to take it as serious as it is. We have to take it as the urgent situation it is, because we are treating it not as an urgency, but we have to. If we're going to bring about change, it has to be treated as an emergency. Like the situation back home is emergency, and Eritrea needs to be saved as soon as possible. The Eritrean people are dying, suffering all over they're going. Some are dying in the desert, some are drowning in the seas. So we have to treat it as an urgency and come together for a common solution. What's happening is not acceptable. We need to make sure that since we're all living abroad, we're only minding our own things, but and we do it the Eritrean topic after as a hobby. I even joined after I graduated school, right? And then now I'm trying to help. I've always tried to help, but I've never committed that much time or effort. But we shouldn't. We have to invest the time we have, the effort, the education, the experience we have to our common problem and come up with a common solution.
Very
so
good.
I feel it's how we treat the problem. We have to treat it as an urgent situation that we have.
Excellent. Dr. Mogos picked up where she left.
Heron, very good. I love the way you express. It reminds me there is called a societal readiness for change, which is it has 6 components. I'm going to go through just in briefly. One is just as you explain, Fnan and Heron, the first is desire for change, because it starts, the change from you as a person. What can I do? If you do something, things will change. Otherwise, no business as usual. It will not going to change anything. That's the first component of one of the social readiness for change. The second component of the social readiness for change is we want this change. But is whether we like or not, change will come through. Then if we are not prepared, it can be too risky. It can be disaster. Then even with the situation which is happening, we don't know what's going to happen. Because it seems now it's as if we've been sold to our neighbor country, which is Ethiopia. The whole thing, is after this peace deal, then we wake up, to come to Yeakl because we were deceived. We told now is the border issue was, that's why is a problem for implementation of constitution. Now even the supporters we came. No, we came in number. No, this is should stop. This is then we don't want now is our change to be too risky. Then already we are dying. Then those who are in our comfort zone, we have to come out as Fnan spell out. So just if we don't do it today, then that will be the change will come. Then it will be disaster. The third component of the social readiness for change would be creating a system that accommodates everybody. So now for example, for the first time we are going to speak to the youth in English.
Yeah.
So when we do, is meetings everywhere. If you remember at the Congress, Fnan, the speech was most of the time Arabic and English. Tigrinya. English was not accommodated. Those who they don't follow you. How are we going to attack them? Then we have to change. Now is when we think about accommodating everybody, all ethnic groups in one umbrella of Yeakl, then what we have to remember is that we are living in Canada or elsewhere. So someone who is in Germany, they have to speak them in German. Someone in French, they have to speak them in Germany for the youth so that they can understand.
Yeah.
So this is very, is important where we have to carry on. Then the fourth component of the readiness for change would be effective communication of our efforts. As a culture, most of our culture, we don't talk. Whatever we do, just we become quiet. Then as a result, we try to measure, is we start to do something, then we come up to media. Rather, we have to be every day. If we have a challenge, this is a challenge we are facing. How we can get it out of this, or this is a success. Let's celebrate this success all together.
All right.
This is very, the third component, create a system, a system to accommodate that. And the fourth component, effective communication. If first is, then we have to think out, how do we inspire the youth? How do we tell them in their language?
Yeah.
Then how do we use, is all the social media which can attack them? Because we need an inspiration, is to make them ready, everybody, for this change. Otherwise, if we do business as usual, in just in one venue, then we go on, then we feel, we stand. Then the fifth component of it is the communication, the implementation. The communication we have to have, is proper implementation, is our communication. Then is that the main change. This is what we have done. Then this we are going to accommodate. And some people, remember, there are lots of people which they don't like to change because they are benefiting out as it is. Some people, they might think if we change, then we might go to the disaster state like South Sudan.
All right.
Or Somalia. So they have this fear. As a result, they don't want to participate. Then how do we make sure that, this change will accommodate everybody? This change will benefit the nation. This change is not about us. It's about the people inside where we need to change. We are fighting for two components. One is to bring democracy in Eritrea. The second component is mindset change. We need to shift our thought. We need to
let Fnan pick it up from there. Just mingle. Don't wait until he finish. Interrupt each other and talk.
Okay, I will. Well, what Dr. Mogos was saying was really, I was grasping it. But to mention too, on top of that, as a woman, as me and Saro and many other women, women, we need more nutrition, more hygiene than a male does, and it's sad. Nobody should be going through this, living in vain. Really, it's really disturbing mentally. So the sexual abuse, just for those viewers who will be listening to this, women and girls are conscripted into the so-called national service. They often end up serving senior officers or whatever they want to call themselves, generals or colonels, as housemaids and are subjected to sexual abuse and even rape. They live as basically like slaves, like women slaves. They're slaves for the men, which is just, I never imagined for this to happen in Eritrea. The way we grew up, what we were told, our values, our morals, our culture. So for me, I can speak for myself, it's a cultural shock. Like Lampedusa in October of 2013, when I seen that, I was just in a shock. The way Eritreans, like our culture, how we value our cultures, our morals, and our dignity, that it was just a shock for me. So anyways, this is what I wanted to mention to the viewers, and also the imprisonment without trial. We have like over 40,000 prisoners put in shipping containers, no visitation, no phone calls, no whereabouts. We're just touching the surface of what's going on in Eritrea, just killing people, the brutality within the jail cells, like, the brutal, like the physical, the mental abuse, the manipulation. This is what's happening. In a normal world, in a civilized world, if someone goes to jail, there is a trial. That's what we have here. There is visitation. You get to see if they're okay. That doesn't happen in Eritrea. It's just, you're just locked up for no reason. So this is something I want to let the youths and people who are not aware to know, this from whatever background they're from. And also it's just students that are graduating from high school, they're also conscripted to serve in forced labor in the name of national service as well for an unlimited period of time, sometimes 10 years, sometimes 20 years, sometimes 30 years, under harsh conditions with no access to clean, safe water or proper food and nutrition. They're basically slaves. They're building houses for these officers, for these colonels, these rebels, building houses. Some of them are not even qualified to build a house. They don't have breaks. They don't have the food, the compensation, the paychecks coming in. Yougov network, they're worth $100 million. And none of that money is being given put into the economy of the country, to the workers. People are working for free. Mm-hmm. So this is a tragedy that we should not even be allowing one person to be going through this. But we are all responsible. We are all responsible for this because we know better. So this is something that we have to pick up the task and just make sure that this Yeakl train continues to move. So if anyone's free to interrupt, they can interrupt me and give their suggestion or feedback. Feel free.
No, to Heron now.
It is Fnan and also Heron, you have to mingle down. She was talking some value of our system, value of sympathy and value of helping each other. It doesn't exist anymore. I want you to pick it up there, Heron. Go ahead. If you know the value of our society.
Yeah, it's sad because we've been accustomed to torture or to abuse. You know how you condition someone, and then Eritreans have been conditioned to abuse. We don't know what our rights are, we don't know what's wrong or right from anymore. Because we've been so accustomed to it, which is sad. Shock, the culture of shock and then adjust. That's what it is. First, when you first hear about it, it shocks us, and then after it keeps on happening, it doesn't shock us anymore. You just get used to it. It's oh, it's happening, it's normal, which is sad, which is really sad. Which is what's happening in Eritrea because we have accepted it as normal when it's completely not normal. So we need to address how the things happening in Eritrea are not completely normal because we've seen it growing up or we've seen it, we've heard about it all the time. We think, oh, it's acceptable or it happened, but it's not. We need to address those abnormalities that we have accepted as the norm, which is not. So I like how she was mentioning that because we've grown accustomed to it and conditioned to it. It's the Yougov regime has done really well in conditioning us to abuse. It's how you condition an animal. We've just been conditioned to it. So we need to address that and how we need to change that culture of accepting abuse or just accepting anything bad in silence.
Very good. Mogos?
Yeah, but changing the culture, changing our value system. Our culture has been really twisted in a way to make us submissive or to just stay silent.
Exactly, yeah.
So that's our problem. We're very submissive.
Yeah.
Even the sayings we have in Tigrinya, you know how this is very dangerous, and that's what we hear. It's oh, which is very sad. It shouldn't be the case. Eritrea it belongs to everyone, right? Eritrea equally belongs to each one of us equally. So when he says, oh, it's our country too. Why should we leave? We should have the same rights. We should have the same privileges.
In fact, that proverb is wrong for Eritreans. We cannot leave our country. We have to fight for our country.
That's right. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We're not utensils. We're not apes. We're not an object. And that's what Eritrean people need to really wake up and think. What are they going to leave behind for the next generations to come? We're not spoons, we're not forks, we're not a box, we're not a car, we're not a vehicle. We're human beings. And God created us to have dominion over everything He has created. So we have the rights over every creation on this world. And even if we get it wrong 10,000 times, the more we get it wrong, the more we're going to get to the yes. We're going to get closer to the freedom, the new birth of Eritrea. And what's the point of us living if we cannot speak out against these things? Because we're suffering too. Everywhere we go, all over the world, everyone knows about what's going on in Eritrea. It's discussions at my workplace. People come up to me and be like, "Oh, we heard what's going on. That's crazy." Like, we are just like, what is that noise?
Somebody's tapping something.
Oh,
Pen.
not me. I don't know. There's a noise.
Not us. One of you three. Somebody's tapping. So stop it.
And it's just like it's like this foundation right now. It's a tree. So we need the right tools, and the right tools is having like Dr. Mogos said, you have to have the right mindset. The right mindset, the right tools, we can break down the tree. But in order to remove an axe down the tree, if you don't have the right tools, you're not gonna cut it off. You need to have the right mindset. You need to have the right tools to cut it out, and that starts with mindset. Mindset.
Good. Mogos mingle in.
Yeah. So.
Okay, no. I just the shock Heron she mentioned was for me to remind one. If there is a cycle when some society goes into the shock, then immediately what they do is they will live on denial. It's people they start to deny. Then from denial, then go to anger. From anger to revenge, then finally goes to acceptance. Then comes to the normal cycle. So we hope so. No, just from denial, we come out of those. We don't want to have revenge and anger in between. We have to come from out of denial, that accept the reality. This is what's happening. Then it's just so that we can change things. Now is for one thing which I would like to bring. Is we have two groups of now is we are in diaspora. And then in diaspora, the youth, we have two groups. One group is those who pass through a lot of hell to arrive to Europe and Northern America. Then as a result, when they arrived, when they landed in somewhere, they don't have chances, to participate on their national agenda. Maybe they have to work hard, for their living. The other group, like Fnan and Heron, who generally born, in diaspora, then as a result, they cast them, they become integrated as a result of their parents. They integrated to the system. So as a result, they couldn't come, to become vocal about the situation because they have to be competitive on their life. Just they focus on themselves because these capitalists, it's kind of old. Then they go, and then the issue now is what I'm trying. And not only, No, I'm not saying that. It is the situation. That I'm making an assumption now is. We have two components of now is the youth. The first youth is how do we make them to bring them those who are suffering, just to make them is to create some space for them. The second group, those who born over in diaspora, but they couldn't come on board. So what mechanism can we use to bring them here? Yeakl list. We have still number of campaign already, like reclaiming our nation. If I was the president, that was for me amazing. Would we think that would be enough for now? Then let me leave this kind of discussion with you. Maybe let me just to Fnan what you and take here.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I really was inspired when I seen Reclaim Eritrea. If I was a president, what's going on in the Bay Area. It's very inspirational for the people that are in the movements right now in these campaigns, and also for those to come. It just shows that we are making progress. We started this like a year ago. Everyone had just recently started this. This is amazing progress. Like, our foundation is getting stronger. And I'm inspired. It inspires me to continue to go. And the next generation, like I talk to my cousins, my siblings, and they see this now, and they're like, oh my God, they're slowly opening up. And the next generation, and even the people who were never involved before, they're just like, wow, that's a good job that you guys are doing. But I think where plateau hits is people will say, we don't have time. There's no time. I'm working. I'm going to school. We have 24 hours in a day. You can make time for 1 hour, even 2 hours, 3 hours out of 7 days to commit to see if you can come out, if you can speak with people, if you can build relationships. There's like no excuse. Like nobody has time. There's never the right time to join. There's never the right time to do anything in life. But I think if you just start with a few hours, just speaking, coming out, inviting, consistency. So this to me is amazing, and I know that there's going to be more campaigns and more movements that will start, that we can all work together. So I think
88.1 CKDU Voice of Eritrea discussion with Dr. Mogos, Fnan, and Heron. We'll continue. Let us listen to this music. We'll be back in a few seconds. I want to be free. Freedom. That's what we are talking about. It's our first time in English program today, trying to outreach our younger generation to take us to freedom and glory together. So I'll give 5 minutes to our listeners. If there is any question and opinion, please call us at 902-494-2487. 80.1 CKDU Voice of Eritrea. We are still waiting for call. Call us at 88.1 CKDU Voice of Eritrea. All right, was Fnan. That's what you were explaining. Could Heron pick it up from what Fnan was saying?
Okay, no problem. I think it's about creating awareness. A lot of the people in diaspora, they will they know better. They live in democratic countries, right? They know what rights are, what freedom is, what justice is. But I don't know how they are denying that those same rights to their counterparts, like their own brothers and sisters back in Eritrea. Because someone in Eritrea who's like accustomed to oppressive ways might not understand, because they think, oh, it's normal. Someone in power has the power to do those things, or to abuse the power, because they don't know any better. That's the only thing they have seen in their lifetime. But someone who has grown up, lived all their lives in the West, they know better. So I would think it's so much easier for them to understand and to relate, but they're not. So it's up to us to create the awareness and to wake them up to the reality of Eritrea. There's a myth that say, oh, it's Africa, it's the third world. As if it's acceptable because it's in Africa. They're like, oh, it happens. There's corruption, there's abuse of power. They think it's acceptable just because it's in Africa. Who said that it was just because it's happening in the third world or in Africa? Even all the countries in Africa, there's corruption, there's problems with power, abuse of power, dictatorship, but it's not. Eritrea is the worst. It's not as bad as Eritrea. I lived in Uganda. I've seen the ways in Uganda. Museveni has been in power for over 30 years. But in Uganda, at least you have the right to live, the right to pursue your dream, pursue your education, to live in a free way. You might not have democratic government or free elections, but at least they inhabit a chance at life they can live. But back home in Eritrea, there's literally not even a chance for you to live or to do anything. You have no freedom. But people kind of justify it, saying that, oh, it's in Africa, or they only visit Eritrea as a vacation spot. But Eritrea is just not a destination spot you can visit whenever you have a summer vacation. People also live there. That's their reality. That's people's lives that we are ignoring. Because I don't know how it's acceptable, but we have to create the awareness. We shouldn't stop, because a lot of people are they're willfully blind. They know what's happening, but they just ignore it. So we have to work tirelessly to just wake them up to the reality back home. Because it's not acceptable. They think it's acceptable or it's not as bad, but it is that bad. It is the worst you can imagine. So we just have to wake up and also wake our own people living in the diaspora. Okay,
Dr. Mogos, you lead the podium. I think the first phase we have done it. We covered it, I think.
Almost. The first phase of we have covered.
We covered now. Jump to the second one. Yeah. And I want you, when you jump to second one also, now bring the idea of Yeakl movement all the way.
Yeah. Then, as we said, now it is the whole situation of Eritrea and our how do we react to it. Then we have explained for almost 1 hour. Now is then if we look at is all our opposition party in the last 20 years, they have done a lot. They sacrificed a lot. It's in a massive. And they keep, it's calling, for this action to come. But as Heron and Fnan they put together, we didn't listen to them. So now this Yeakl comes, it's from each of us. In the media we came out, then we said, it's enough is enough, everyone. Then is because it starts for one individual, which is Zaman El-Dawa, which we gave him all the time credit for that, and we now it becomes not only it's lagoon to say Yeakl, but also later on now in each of the constituency or in cities. Okay, we came again from individual, is to come, is to in number as a city. We said Yeakl. Again we came, okay. After we said so. Then what will be the next? Then the next, okay, let's have some kind of is a functional team organization, so that we can manage ourselves, because in diaspora we've been challenged by a number of things. Our life, is the money itself. Now is everybody who said Yeakl, he can't keep on going, but he has to have is a kind of representative of each city. Then is each city, then they create their representative, then we become elected, and then we create the Canada-wide Yeakl. Then we are trying, is just after that, is we came, if I remember now, is our festival of Toronto, then we modified this, we postponed it to August the 3rd. From then, and now to it also, no, we can't go for festival only. We have to do some, is just Congress. We just to establish our umbrella. Then we create a task team, then the task force from each city. Then the task force, they meet every week, where Fnan was part of it, and myself. Then we delegate 3 people, 3 persons to Toronto. Then we don't call it Toronto Festival anymore. That time we call it, is Canada Festival. Then it's just as we have witnessed it. Then we have said it many times about it. Now then we pass through, is just stage by stage, which is the first stage was, as I said. Then we came, for the Congress, which is in Tigrinya, then we came together all together. That is, let's united for our freedom. That was. Then the second stage, then we create our function. Then where we work on now is to create our functional team. Then this functional team is just one of them. We are me and myself. We are from media team. So that's why we are trying to reach, the young people at this stage. Also, the other functions also they are trying to establish themselves. I try to create, their draft, so that they can give, their direction where we want to go. So then later on, then in the third stage, we are heading, but before that, we have some projects which we are going to explain later on about with this election of Canada. Where we are in each city, we will bring it later.
We'll come in that time. Don't go ahead of time. Give the people, your friends, your comrades there, put their input of what you're talking about.
Okay. Then let's give it Fnan. Then, but what I would like, is from the point of Heron, which is our ordinary member. Just we like to have contribution. What she's witnessed so far, what needs to be done. Then, of course, we'll come to success and challenge. Thank you. Go ahead, Fnan.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
If I missed anything in the process which I was trying to explain.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So just like what Dr. Mogos was saying, I think there's I think we're at the stage of just creating awareness, but building our foundation, right? The Yeakl foundation, and just the consistency, keeping it vibrant and fresh, and coming up with new ideas and creativity to continue to grow, right? So I think that's what we're at so far, and it's important that our foundation from the bottom is very solid and strong. It might not be as visible as we want it to be, but it's critical to the structural integrity to the Yeakl movement. It's just like when a house is being built, you have to dig deep. If the foundation is not strong, the building or the house will fall over. So we need a good grip, and that's what we're working on. And just the mindset as well of the people being positive influencers will definitely help our people. And people might not be coming out now, but people are just seeing from like the scenes from afar, like from a distance, and they see what's happening, and people are opening up, and things are going to change. What's consistent in life is change, whether we like it or not. We're going to have to evolve. We're going to have to change. And I just wanted to read something to the viewers. It might be off topic, but it takes more than 2 months before a new behavior becomes automatic. That's 66 days to be exact. And how long it takes a new habit to form can vary widely depending on the behavior, the person, and the circumstances. And it can take anywhere from 18 days to 254 days for people to form a new habit. So, and to unlearn a lot of things, it takes a lot more time. But to implement new influence and new change, it's not comfortable in the first few months. But eventually, people do grasp on and realize, because sometimes we think we're awake, but we're really not awake mentally. Like, we don't question, we don't say, what are we, like, you don't evaluate how you think. Like, people think for us, because, people or society thinks for us, but we have the right to say, no, I give myself permission for change. A great example, maybe this is off topic, but there's a lot of people who try to discourage me, to try to stop me to go to the Toronto Yeakl movement and give a speech. There's a lot of people who were calling me, trying to discourage me. But I put my foot down and I said, I didn't know at any point in my life that I give you permission over what I can and cannot do. So you have to put your foot down for change. You have to, for positive change. So nobody should have permission over what you want to do and what you don't want to do. So
all right.
I just, so I'll just give it over to Heron or
Maasho Solomon from Calgary, Yosef Araya from Toronto. They are congratulating you. Listening to your interview is very impressive and uplifting. Keep it up, that's they are saying. Thank you to both. Heron.
Thank you, guys.
I actually have nothing more to add.
All right. If you don't want to add, then I'll bring that question for you. As a new member, those two are representatives of their own cities. You are the new member. How you became aware to be a member of Yeakl? What driving you?
I actually got together with my own peers, because I've always followed my social media.
I'm not hearing you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Okay.
The reason I got involved, how I got involved with the Yeakl was I got together with my friends, people my own age. I always posted on my social media, like Instagram and Facebook. I always posted about what's happening back home and how we need to do better, how we need to change. So, like, we just got together. We're like, oh, if you wanna join, I know someone who works with the Yeakl movement here in Toronto. And I was like, yes, I would be interested to join. So, like, people who have similar interests and similar interest in politics back home, we just got together, and then we knew someone who was already involved with the Yeakl movement. And that's how I got to join the Yeakl movement in Toronto.
All right. Very good. What I want to hear now from each of you, Dr. Mogos and so on the panel discussion, because I don't want to pose the question. I'm just mingling with you guys. But what I would like to see all our listeners to listen is As you mentioned earlier, representative of the cities. Yes, Yeakl is represented by the cities. What is the success and what the failure for the last couple of months since we have elected the temporary leadership of Canada-wide movement? Can you tell us, Dr. Mogos Fnan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, if I may go. You see, the success, because as Fnan mentioned it clearly, we are at the stage of foundation right now. Then we are trying to create our functional teams to be functioning. So as we know, a way of just any movement to be sustainable, sustainability issue is the three components, which is the economic aspect of it, which we call in economics a trade-off. I mean, is if you have an income to generate from where you are working, just leaving that one and inputting your time to Yeakl, then you trade off your time, save your people. So to do so now is we have, is a difficult challenge because to maintain that's a part of the challenge. Where how can we trade off? Because each of us, if we can contribute, is from 5 days, at the 3 hours, it becomes to get that equation, to get that time, it becomes so difficult because everybody has a priority in their life. That's the challenge I will see. But the success is so far which we as we have seen the moment of understanding. Now is the project which we are going to talk later about the election campaign, which we are trying to influence. That is the success.
Dr. Mogos, why don't you leave this election campaign of Canada, concentrate on the Yeakl? How are we going? What are we doing? What is the failure? What is the progress? Election Canada will come as the last phase for it. Okay. Now what I want to know is about my people. Are Canada-wide is going the way we have expected? If it's not, what's the difficulties?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is so far. It's so. As humans, we expect to kick off. We said before is our home situation is it requires agency, but our movement becomes as a response. As I said, this is the one challenge which we can spell off. So, but we are trying our best. Is number of preparation, number of documentation is being done. The functional teams are, is on the way. Is just they are creating their drafts each and every. So once we then hopefully is sooner to come is to the what you call it the regional kind of campaign where we connect immediately to our counterparts to United States and we can make an impact. I think maybe Fran, you may add for me here.
Okay, but before Fnan, you mentioned economy. Fnan also mentioned economy. At this time, what kind of fund that needs the Yeakl and what for?
No. What I mean is when I mention about the sustainability, I mentioned is one component is economic, which is as individual, as a member. You have to do your what we call it trade-off in economy. Trade-off means you have to lose your income. For example, yourself, Naz, when you are contributing to your Yeakl, because you have to leave the job you are doing and sacrifice for your people. Then that will be very important to all of us to sustain our Yeakl. So, for example, to come for a meeting, you have to sacrifice your job. You have to sacrifice all your family issue or something. That is what I mean is.
All right.
The other component of it is the political aspect of our awareness. Are we the same level in terms of the political awareness? What we know what's happening in our back home, but generally the regional political situation, the global political situation, which we have to understand, all of us, is the Yeakl movement. The third component of it is the society itself. In the society, for example, the youth. I'm glad now is Fnan and Heron, they are talking about, but in diaspora, all family, for our teenagers, do we educate them what's happening in our Eritrea back home? Do we tell them the actual, the reality, what's happening? We are Eritreans, this is what's happening. From your side, you need to contribute. This is what I mean. If we compare it this stage being in, then we can start.
Answer, Yacob. How is Atina Mongo? Who are you? What can I say? Hello.
Rahel from Vancouver.
Rahel, okay. Could you give him a time to finish what he was talking?
Okay.
Just wait there.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, that's what I'm saying. The other the society parties as the sustainability. I'm done. Then we have to tell our kids, especially those who have youngsters above 12 or 13. It's time to tell them the actual. For the younger one, it might not be right, but for those youngsters, we have to explain what's happening back home so that they can start to be aware to take, their responsibility. Thank you.
All right. 88 from CKDU was of Eritrea. Rahel from Vancouver was in, but she can't wait. She left. Let's go to Fnan. Do you think, or on your point of view, as Dr. Mogos has stated it, the Yeakl movement, in fact, is going very smooth and very good. What's your point of view on that?
Yeah, like what Dr. Mogos said, we are at this stage, we're just a brand new baby movement. So we're just at the stage of building the foundation and also just learning new things as we go. Like, this is all new to me, and I just want to also say to other people, the younger generation or even the seasoned generation.
Okay, hang on there. Good. 88.1 security, hello.
Okay, I will wait online, I thought.
Okay, I don't think you have the timing on that difference, so go ahead. Interrupt. Go ahead, Rahel.
Okay,
Yeah, go ahead, put your caution or opinion.
Okay. So, I want to ask to Heron and Fnan. لازم تشمي حتى بتقولي حتى تحشني.
حرة.
Okay. أنا نعاتن قاساتنا أبزي عابين أبزي سولدا حدشتي نفسه قاسز مسافر لو عندين. أجي أنا يمثل في أب درجة إنزل من سي في اللايتو أب كندا تولدو زعبي أبزي قالسين أي أكل موفمنت من ستا كم يمثل تايو.
الرادع إن كم يديو؟
يا الرادع إن كم يدحرك أكم أنزع مسلوسي تبزحي نفسي أتقامت ويحسبهم كنا قرانا دم خلا.
Okay, if I understand it correctly, probably you heard it what she was saying. But she was saying, as a younger generation born and raised here in Canada, what you take about Yeakl, at the same time, what can you do to outreach more people younger to Yeakl movement? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Fnan or Heron?
Okay, I'll go ahead. Heron's connected. Yeah, so to me, the Yeakl movement is definitely, we need consistency, okay? Consistency and using, sorry, I'm just trying to connect her. Heron disconnected. So keeping consistency alive for us.
Go ahead, don't stop. Fnan. 88.1 CKDU Voice of Eritrea. Fnan, you're down. Yacob, Mogos Allah.
Oh, hello. Let me connect her. Yeah.
Yeah, connect them. Can you wait, Rahel, or Rahel? Can you wait for us to listen to the answer?
You are in. Oh, she's in. She's in. She's in now. She was disconnected. No.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hang on, please. Go ahead, Fnan.
I will call again, okay?
Okay, I'm going ahead. So
Okay.
just basically...
Okay, we heard. No need apology. Go ahead on the subject.
Okay, can I speak? Hello?
Yeah, نسمعك كلنا.
Okay, so just keeping consistency because our generation, majority of them are involved in the YPD FDJ. So everyone is everyone is on a different rate. Everyone has a different understanding. I have never been involved. I've always been in disagreement with the way they market and use my generation. So everyone is on a different rate. But what will help us get everyone on board is consistency. The more they start to see people from 6 months to the next year, and as we go on, the charts and the volumes and the numbers start to go up, and bringing exposure, that will definitely help, not only for Eritreans to come on board, but also people that we work with, people that we're neighbors with. Once they see us start to grow, we also need to market ourselves better. As to me, being registered, having a YCW website where people can go to, that is very important, because people always want to see, like, do you have a website? What are you doing? If they didn't hear about you, they kind of get skeptical. So I think that's that is the plateau we're in right now.
And
I'll give it over to Heron.
do you understand Rahel, the answers? Rahel is still there?
Yeah.
Do you understand what she was saying?
Yeah.
Okay. The second is, what can you do to bring, to outreach the younger generation like you to come to the movement? Because that's for Heron.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I was born and raised in Eritrea. I'm not from Canada. Like, I just came to Canada 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree with our outreach is not that strong. The reason I came to join Yeakl is because the people around me were already involved and they knew. So, like, someone who doesn't have anyone involved or who is not close to the movement, they would not be able to hear about it. I've also, like, raised this issue with my own members a lot of times, because we only like reach out to the people we know, not to everyone that's, like, around us. So we can do better in us reaching out to the public and creating awareness that we exist as, like, a movement. I think if we make it more professional, like we create an organization, a registered organization that represents Eritreans, we get more legitimacy, because people always question you, like, well, who are you? What are you doing? And that's the problem. If there's just a group of people meeting, like, every Sunday or, like, once in a month, they don't, like, think you have, like, legit anything. So they just want to see someone who's organized, well structured, something that's registered and official, so they want to join. So we have to do better in reaching out to the youth, to the public, and make it more official in a way by creating websites, like you said, or organizations. That way you can just reach out to everyone.
Okay, Rahel.
And also, I'd like to mention one more thing. We also have to get into the habit, and I'm starting to do it. It's very uncomfortable, but we need to start. If we keep it just with the Habesha community, the Eritrean community, nobody's going to discover us. We need to start talking to our neighbors, people that we work with, people that we meet, because, an empty mouth can't feed you. Okay, so I think it's very important that we start to break these habits, and people, whether you have an accent or not, we need to break those habits and just grow a confidence to speak to people, even people at the stores you go to. Just start a conversation, speak to people, and eventually they might say, no, I'm not interested, but you'll get closer to a yes eventually. People will come out. It makes a difference, So if we keep it within only with encouraging Eritrean people, sometimes change has to come from outside in order to get your people to come on board. So that's one thing I really emphasize here in Calgary is stop just speaking to Eritrean people. Speak to people that anywhere you go, like, if that's how you tell people, give them the website and let them know what's going on, and build relationships so that we can go places. So if we keep our mouth silent,
let's give chance to Rahel. Go ahead, tell us what's your intake on this. What we are talking. You are also the chair lady, or the secretary for the Yeakl movement on Canada wide. Could you enlighten us? ካብ ኣታኺ ማለት ወላ ብትግርኛ ክገብሮ ናይቲ ኮሚኒቲ ናይቲ ካናዳ ዋይድ ኮሚኒቲ ከም ሼር ሌዲ ኦር ዘ ቫይስ ቼር ይመስለኒ ተጋጊያ ካብ ኩልቲ ሓዲዩ ብዙሕ ተቃሊስኪ ከነዚ ካብ ሲጂ ንሳተን ክብሎ ፀንሓ ንስኸ ዘለዓልክዮ ሕቶን ካናዳ ዋይድ ዕውት ንኽኸውን እንታይ ዝጎደሎ ነገራት ኣሎ ወይ እንታይ እንቅፋት ዘሎ ኮይኑ ይራኣየክ راهل نعخي راهل الله ده
يا الله سمعت الله يا انا بتقرني اقل لي
هو
انتي مسلكه انا حجيت بعل كنزي بعل فنان بعل هيرون سمعنا الله سمعنا الله
نسمع كلنا قصلي
سمعنا الله هذا حكي
نسمع كلنا قصلي
اوكي
اوكي راهل
كم مسافن كم زردني حسب تي قانقوا ناي قانقوا شجرالو بزحات كابزوم متاتون ويا كندا توليدوم زعبيو ناي قانقوا تقمم هلوم هوني ولا تبهل خمانسي بهل خمانسي ببيني وحجيتن نحنا حجينا متى نحنا ابزناي ارترا كوميتي ولا نوم ارترا صريحه لا كله تعابي بدها نجر بساعتنا أي نركبنا من الحجزي أنا بعل أب كندا عبيهم تولدهم عبي إرتراويان عبي تأشمينه شوكيو كلمتي مستاتهم عم سلسة عبي ساعة شو مونت تهاي الأخيبا ساعة شو مونت نتكسب ساعة سلسة تهاي ساعة سلسة تدنقوي حتى تدغي إسرا دغي طرعي زخون أبانا جينكم يلا الحج حزي عبي بهلاوي قاكوين سمعني نداي أبتنا هنا بهزياتهم الحج خطأنا يخلي يقول كله ولا تقان قان زاربون عملت أجندة ببع عينتو تفلليات ناي ببع عينت حسابات مت ترنف أجندة حزنا وين ناستو نزون حدث أجمع خون خلي نعاتهم يلي قمت لعله كله مساتهم ديمقراطية تقول أبعد ديمقراطية أبعد ناس لزعبيو زيتات تجمعات كريوه خلو أزينا دي حرنا خنزلنا قالك الرأي ومخلي خون جين إحنا وين أتاتهم أو زلنا تسفى أتاتهم تمركزنا زنجرات كيرو برتنساتهم قرب لأبزي بمعباي ترابة جنرال نوليج كمان أبزي بس تكنولوجي خون ولا أبناء ديمقراطية كم يسرح مرجعات تساتيفهم يوم كان يكبر مرجعات قلت يوم زياتهم كمهرونا كموتو نتي أكل كمرحوه نبحكينا ندلي نبحكينا نبهد كان تزد اللي حجيك واحد حدا هو سنة اليوم كان تزد اللوين أي تحوسوا ذلو حجينا بعل فنان بعل هيرون نعملت أب يونيفرسيتات كيتكا جست سبيكر أنا حنسب تعدي ما خيدني رزق از لهو فانكوفر كومتاس جزيخت حتى تدخلها بهاي سكول نبى حكي خيخ سمعت تنحي نيرتراوين ترايس لنزار بينا نبزلنا وحجيت من إسي كابتو مع بوتاتهم كمان ولا زاد صعدوا زحاشي ناي تايزبال تحاول كان سراح ديمقراطي فلتو تمالتي كالتشر زبلوت وبغيرهم يبلوا دحنا الرأي اللي تم صدرهم راسيستي يكونون حجينا عاتهم عبيت مرتن دخلتكن مسخاتكن في اللاي مساتهم سلازخونكن كم مدبات كتورتاوي عندهم قدسات كمزي مطفات من إسيات لكن تعدخنو على إرتراوين كومتاك جبرا مدبال لكن هم تزقبر صبوا من تانك مت تحري دبعلو أخيباتات نجبروين من الباس نعهدكم بتعمي كم زبلكي عامي حاطرنا إجل حاطرنا أي أبتن بتوعوا أخيباتات كا أنتي كتبتوا ترلين أمنا تابخاتكم حجي زي بيتيشن متحف يسرح كويس معكم نحن خاني أبتجبر سلنا أمن نصوص حد يسرحني زبل حساب زي حسبوا سوات له حجي انتي تجبرنا هنا نمتهم كم يجرنا هنا خنسمعهم نخيل
Okay.
There
are two different contests in the petition and also going to schools, engage with the students about the Yeakl movement. There are two different issues what we're talking here now. The first one I think is very valid of what Rahel is saying, if I understand it properly, is that Dr. Mogos, as a lecturer, you might know some more lecturers in Moria, in political science or history. Fnan, you might know someone in Calgary. Heron, same like that in Toronto, your old professor also on in policy, because you have studied policy, is that you have to ask them to give that 40 minutes of theirs on the class to come and talk about the Yeakl Canada-wide. If you do that, you gain 100 or 200 students at one time. That's very valid way to approach to outreach younger generation. The other issue of petition, already Fnan has started it, but we're going to come to it on the last one. We have another 10 minutes to discuss about this. After that, we're going to go out with our petition and election and so on. What's the impact? What's going to affect us? Or what we benefit out of it? We'll talk about it. But now, I think Rahel, if she wants more explanation than what I say, I will go to Mogos.
And this is, it is valid reason. You know what happened, just to tell you one thing, was I think 3-4 months ago, and master's student, or I don't know, could be
Mogos ولا بتقرني أقول صدق for this point
no تمام يحجي أبزي غابة قد ميربعت عام شوارحي بزعبة سلمنتاي بمزحي أخطاوين ومتلو زول studies قبلني الميديا student جينا حي بسبب رقيبومني then I give him insights about Eritrea what's happening قال سب افرم زبال I think Ottawa is on the SAU also like Heron he came
Ephraim
at the young stage Ephraim Munil Allah paper it was when he sent it to me then he did the presentation in his class then now is imagine now is almost is more than 200 it's a seminar at the Concordia University. Then 200 people they start to know our situation. So this is also one of the mechanisms or the process we can create awareness. So these are also one is just to have to involve students, not necessarily even Eritreans, anyone. Just this is a case study. Less present. This one is at the class. Or as the Canada is the Yeakl, the Solali Yeakl also we can talk to the professors and try to make some presentations what's happening back home.
Okay. Fnan, do you agree? Okay. Fnan, you're not there. Heron?
Sorry about that. Go ahead, Heron. I'll let Heron go.
Yes. I agree. We have to create networks with Canadians here, or like anyone who's like willing to listen. It's good to have allies, because if you're going to actually gain any support, you need to have allies. And to gain any international coverage, or for the people to know about what's happening in Eritrea, we have to like talk and bring people outside our own community. So it makes sense to go to like universities where you have a lot of people, like youth, or also go to like government places, like petitions, like you're doing. Just reaching out to anyone would work. I think, it makes sense.
All right, very valid questions, Rahel Elatuzulla. Kabzi metanafti nasalsai face nakhanhalif. Zgodalana nagarta ahaliu. I did ask it in English. How far is going the Yeakl Canada-wide movement? The city representation, is it working? And what's the ultimate goal? For this, go ahead, Dr. Mogos, you are the leader of this.
Okay, thank you.